When I was a kid, I was obsessed with jaguars. I have nature journaled them in captivity, but what I am about to do right now is going to put me as close to wild jaguars as possible. I'll be spending 7 days and 8 nights in this observation tower in the middle of the rainforest. Jaguars and pumas have been caught on camera multiple times right below the tower where I will be sleeping. The location is also famous for its high abundance of pit vipers. I'm not going into this with the direct goal of seeing and nature journaling these elusive species. I don't want to jinx myself. I'm going with the goal of nature journaling the huge diversity of birds here. However, let's just say I'm trying to put myself in the right place at the right time. But first, I have to get there. After taking a bus to the little town of Mera, I hire a taxi to take me on a 40-minute drive on dirt roads into the mountains. I'm off to a lucky start apparently because the taxi driver had to drop me off early since the road was impassable. Up this crazy hill with loose rocks, and then I get to a trail and I have to walk on the trail for a long time. This spot never has had a road to it. People used to have to hike even further, and it's in the foothills here in a really interesting biological corridor. Not very studied, partly because it's difficult to access, and a new species of frog was just discovered here a couple months ago. Lots of new species, and a really cool science research station where I'm going to do some nature. I'm going to stop filming because I don't want to fall with all my stuff in this mud here. I think I have only a quarter mile of this though to walk. Could be worse. I think it was flooding here yesterday. Almost there. This is where they got some really nice jaguar or puma tracks. There's cool pit vipers. One of the things I would love to see while I'm here, they can be hard to find. They could be, anywhere. I've never seen one that I know of, but chances are good that I've been really close to one and they've seen me or sensed me. So after this hike, I've just made it to the science field station where there is food, a solar panel, a library, and some basic resources. But I still need to hike through a long, muddy trail to get to the actual observation tower. All right, let me show you my home for the next week. Check it out. I'm gonna be staying in here for the next week. This is an observation tower. There's a basic kitchen, there's a toilet, and a bed. Some shelves for books, and it's right on this trail. This is a wildlife corridor right there. About a year ago, a little less than a year ago, they found a 2-meter long bushmaster, Lachesis muda, the largest pit viper in the Americas. And they've had camera traps here before and seen jaguars on this trail right here. So here's my bed, and here are the surroundings. So I'm hoping to do some nature journaling here and also do a lot of brainstorming about how nature journaling can infiltrate science field stations. So science field stations are a phenomenon around the world, and I think they can be a really good place for spreading nature journaling. And I think nature journaling can help the goals of those science field stations. So if it rains the way that it has been raining lately, it's going to be very interesting. All right, so the sun just set and it's about to be my first night here. I did get a little bit of nature journaling and birding in. Did you hear that? There's a cloud of mosquitoes around my feet. that could definitely make my day a lot more exciting. I'm not 100% sure that is a bullet ant, but it looks like one. And, you know, I've got my bed rolled up here. So, probably not gonna try to kill it. I think that'd be bad luck. But just gotta hope for the best and try to shake things off. Shake off your underwear before you put them on. All right, it's the end of my first full day here in the observation tower. There's a ton of little beetles landing on me everywhere, and they're probably gonna end up in my bed tonight. And I feel amazing. Feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Got a bunch of nature journaling in, lots of birds, nature journaling birds, and also using, of course, the eBird and Merlin apps to help me figure out the birds. Also using this book right here. So just doing a little bit of study, you know, learning some birds, creating a list to show what birds come to this location, which will be useful for the research station, and dropping in and enjoying. Got a couple live birds today, so not that many mosquitoes biting right now, tons of beetles, but feeling really great watching the sunset. Luckily, these beetles are too light, it seems like, to pick up watercolor. So that one just walked through wet watercolor. Luckily, it didn't mess anything up. This is one of the, you know, challenges of nature journaling in places where there's tons of flying insects and you have a light at night in the rainforest with no screens. Look at the light right now. So it stopped raining about 20 minutes ago and the sun is coming back out again. This is a beautiful time, but also a really good time for birds. Just saw quite a few birds come through. Okay, these weird little beetles crawl all over this thing in the house and nothing else except for my body and the screen of my phone. So all three of those things have something in common. It seems like these beetles love it. They don't bite or anything, but it just feels weird having them crawling around on me. Alright, so the rain sound was so deafening that I had to re-record the audio for this, but basically I was starting to fall asleep in this heavy storm when I noticed water droplets falling on my forehead. There is something just really stressful about this, especially at night when you're trying to sleep and you know that all of your stuff could get wet. So I spend a few minutes trying to find where the leak is coming from. I ended up using a trash bag and some scotch tape to create a makeshift little block for the leak here to direct the leak away from my bed so it'll drip in another place of the house but not on my bed. I also double checked all of my supplies, especially my nature journals and my computer, and make sure they're all in the safest place possible so that worst case scenario, everything gets wet inside. Maybe I even get wet, but my nature journals will be safe inside of this bag here. All right, so I survived through the night. My bed didn't get wet. Wait, that doesn't sound right. My bed didn't get rained on too much more. That plastic I put on the ceiling seemed to work. And, you know, despite that weird feeling, that anxiety of not wanting to get wet while you're sleeping at night, look at what I get to wake up to. It's cold enough this morning that there aren't many mosquitoes, so that's nice. Time for some tea. So these bees are getting all in my watercolor, and they're not really bothering me. There's some type of Moepana or other stingless bee, but I don't want them to eat a bunch of my watercolor because it's poisonous, some of it, to them, and also I don't want to lose quantities of some of these colors that I'm running out of. Unfortunately, I think that the hive that they're coming from is like right back. Right there, you can see them flying out right behind my home. If you can call this a home. Yes, it's a home. Here's my little station. Here you can see the friggin' bees. Love you, bees, but you gotta go. Come on. I think I might just stop doing watercolor for a little bit. Right, so today someone found jaguar tracks on the trail just a couple dozen yards away from my little shack. And that means that at some point last night while I was sleeping on this bed right here, it was walking through just a few feet beneath me. All right, so this is my first night walking back since we found the jaguar track on the trail. I mean, it's always been an interesting walk, and I've tried to, pay really close attention to where I put my feet and everything because of the snakes. And I know that I already knew that, jaguars had been seen in this area and all that, and it's also really fun. And you have to stay focused just because of the mud. But I guess, having seen that track now, it does make the hike at night a little bit different. So you can tell where the trail is, right? Super obvious, right? Yeah, well, this is what the trail looks like that I'm walking on every night. And, this is the biodiversity hotspot for pit vipers. super camouflaged pit vipers. And yeah, it's a fun night walk. Very visually stimulating. Plenty of bugs. Tons of frogs in this area. New species recently discovered for science. Also super muddy in some spots where you can sink in past your ankles. Super muddy. The mud is all pervasive here. Up here there's a really cool bird nest. Look at that. Look at the size of that mosquito. Did you see that? That was a huge mosquito. So I have like a 15 to 20 minute hike of this every night. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Good kitty, kitty. Good kitty, kitty, kitty. Alright, I'm gonna stop filming so I can pay attention to where I'm going. So here's where the Jaguar track is. Probably Jaguar track, could be Puma also. And we're making a cast of it, a plaster cast of it, because they're doing a study here on the Jaguars here. So whenever there's tracks, they try to get a cast, and they're also using camera traps to take photos of them on this trail. And they're planning on doing some DNA studies by capturing hair in the future. So there's jaguars and pumas here that have been photographed. And also, here's a giant tree. Also, up here, they saw a 2-meter long Lachesis muta. Lachesis muta is the scientific name, roughly translated meaning silent fate, also known as the Amazonian bushmaster, the largest pit viper in the world. And they found one right here. Oh yeah, and there is where I sleep at night. So jaguar was right here. The giant bushmaster was right here. So look how deep the mud is here. So every night when I walk this, definitely take my time going through this spot. There's the sign, you can see Lachesis muta trail. 2 meters is longer than I am tall. That would be a big snake. And here we are. Here's the Jaguar trail. And here is where I live. No walls, really. But I have a trap door, so to keep the jaguar out. See, I don't think a jaguar could get through that, right? All right, good night for now. All right, I got a big cup of hot chocolate right here. It's my last day, my last full day staying in this lovely tower, and it's not pouring rain. Didn't pour rain last night. There's a bunch of cool birds. I just saw some amazing interactions with these coppery chested jacamars. Really cool. Trying to parse out a couple different species by sound, practicing birding by sound. Gonna do some nature drilling, some watercolor, fill in some of the colors on these jaguars because it was so action packed that I didn't do the coloring in the moment. Also probably gonna do a landscape ito and show you basically what I've been doing the last 6 days that I've been here. I will be using the eBird application that you should have heard me talking about by now, and the Merlin application, as well as voice recordings, which is very useful for birding by ear. Lots of birding by ear when you're in the rainforest because there's trees and plants everywhere, and sometimes it's hard to see things, especially if those things don't want to be seen. Okay, so I normally do like to keep a running sidebar. So this gives you a space to add information that are interesting observations that don't fit into sort of like something that you're focusing on. So this allows for an attention balance. This part here, or like on this one, this part with the jaguars, that is a main focus. But it's nice to have somewhere where you can put other things that are happening that might not be your main focus, if that makes sense, because it's important to be able to focus on one thing when you're in an information dense environment such as a tropical rainforest, but it's also good to be able to notice new things that happen. Like this jaguar happened while I was doing something else, and if I had been super focused, I would have never gone over there and seen this amazing display and behavior interaction between those birds. And this pigeon eating more fruit is something that's connected to an observation I made yesterday. So this is important for me to consider, because yesterday I wrote down that it only ate one berry. I asked some questions about why it only ate one berry. Well, today it's eating a lot of berries. So that is, important information. Oh, I'm going to put down my made up name for them, which is barbet berries. Okay, so now I'm going to get back to this jaguar and put in color on this. Okay, yellow on top of the head, black on the face. Okay, spotted tanager is there. Oh, come on. Come back out. Oh, there you are. Damn, you're fast. Yellow on the head, black on the face. You are. Yes! The green and gold tanager. Wait, I've seen it before? Okay, well, I guess I've seen it before. But I should capture some information about that mixed flock just coming through. Maybe I will. I'm in the middle of like watercolor with the jaguar, but here I will use it in my sidebar. See how many pins can I hold at the same time. Then I'm gonna put in a little bit of a separation here, partly for composition's sake. Alright, so geez, I'm just gonna put notes. I'm actually just gonna use words, I think. So I'm gonna write on yellow berries, even though apparently I have seen that before. Green and gold tea. So even just that, oops, huge thing of watercolor. Even just that in my sidebar at least captures something. Maybe I'll do like I could even do these little outline drawings and add some color later. Okay, so I got that. Going back to my jaguar painting now and putting in. So you can see that the Merlin app works as a reference too. So if you want to add in color afterwards, I do have the book here, but the book is actually harder to flip around the pages on. So sometimes I use it as a reference, but the Merlin app is a really easy to search reference. I just put in the first 3 letters and it's already one of the first ones that comes up. And look how quickly I can get to that reference image. noticing that I didn't draw any of the ones from the front, but I didn't see the front. Oops, and I messed up the colors there. Shoot. So according to the book, if both of them had this copper band on the throat, then they were both females. It's my last morning here at the Jaguar Observation Tower at Sumat Kausai In Situ Research Station, and it's going great. Been seeing tons of birds. There's also tons of mosquitoes, clouds of mosquitoes, and these biting black flies. Last night it rained. I got rained on coming back from the night hike, so sort of my last taste of everything here. It's really humid right now. Clouds are rolling in a little bit, and I don't know why there's so many biting flies. Maybe it's my send-off party. All right, so the best nature journaling techniques for when you're getting bitten by mosquitoes and distracted by bugs is to focus on your juice. So I talk about nature journaling topics for individuals as being separated into categories by the motivation that that topic by itself intrinsically brings to you. So juice are the subjects that you are so interested in that it gives you energy to nature journal. So for example, I really like bugs. I really like hummingbirds also. I really like snakes. If I see a really cool snake, that by itself is going to give me energy to nature journal. So that's my juice. It gives me my juice, my energy. Then there's my bread and butter, which is like what I subsist on in nature journaling. So like landscape ethos, right now birds, those are sort of my bread and butter, my go-to nature journaling techniques or nature journaling subjects. And I could do those in my sleep probably. And then last but not least is growth edge. Growth edge are those subjects like monkey faces for me. They're subjects that are really challenging, and you might even be just totally avoiding these. Um, and they're probably the subjects that, if you just want to get 15 minutes of nature journaling in, it's not the subject you're going to choose. But if you want to grow as a nature journaler and improve your skills and learn about specific things in nature, perhaps, um, those growth edges, for me, monkey faces, geology, numbers, so they can be subjects, they can be nature journaling approaches, but that is my growth edge. So right now, since I'm getting, swatting away biting flies and there's mosquitoes clouding everywhere, and it's my last day, I'm going to focus on my juice. Juice could also be a particular drawing tool that might give you energy and make drawing more fun. I think I'm going to use, yeah, I'm going to use this. It's one of my favorite drawing pens. I'm also going to leave this bug right here, and I'm going to draw a line here. This would also be a good time to just do some written journaling on the last day of, a 7-day stay in the Jaguar hide here. It would be a good time to just do some sort of stream of consciousness journaling. I might do that in a second after I do a little bit of this fun bromeliad drawing. Drawing bromeliads is also really good for practicing foreshortening and some of the technical drawing skills that leaves in perspective will provide. But perspective is one of those words that might scare the juice right out of you. So um, if you are getting chewed by mosquitoes at a primitive field station in an observation tower in the tropics, wearing dirty clothes and with really high humidity, then perspective might not be the word you want to use in your mental dialogue, might not be the most motivating. So there's also like this other plant, at least one other plant mixing with the bromeliad here. If you're just trying to get warmed up and you're just trying to get a little bit of nature journaling in while being surrounded by mosquitoes and distracted by other things like that, then don't worry about all of that stuff. Just try to draw and not think. Bromeliads are crazy. This one has hermit a really cool hummingbird that comes visit it. So this is a perfect example. This is a perfect example of sort of, this could be a little bit on the bread and butter end of the spectrum. It's my nature journaling staple, you know. Even if bread and butter is not your staple anymore, especially with all the, you know, low carb diets out there, this is a staple food for people in a certain part of the world for a certain time in history. And so this is a staple. It's the main thing. So if you're nature journaling your bread and butter, it's the thing you could do in your sleep. But then there's also the juice. This could be the subject, like I said. It could be a drawing tool or a drawing technique or watercolor or whatever. It could be a style of moving through the land, or, you know, like a curiosity wander, or a certain place, a certain type of plant, a certain type of animal. These are the ones that give you energy to nature journal, and these are the ones you want to focus on if you're getting chewed by mosquitoes, or you have low energy or low amount of time. And then the other one is growth edge. You know, almost all other practices and sports and stuff have warm-up exercises, and nature journalers should think about warm-up exercises as well, because ooh, I hear the thunder coming. I wonder if it's going to rain on my way out of here. That would be exciting. All my stuff gets wet. Oh, there's a really cool hummingbird. Move slow, please, man. Let me see you. Oh, they're so quick. Dang it. It didn't let me see it. Now I know what bird that is. It was a mystery, but now I figured it out. It's the scaly-breasted wren. Whoops. Okay, I stopped looking. I over-patterned that. I stopped looking at the real-life thing, and I over-patterned. I just started repeating. This is what happens a lot in drawing, and that's why it's important to look at things in real life. You find a pattern, and then you just start repeating it, and it ends up looking unlike the reality. Shoot, there's a possibility it's going to be raining when I'm hiking out of here with all of my stuff on my back. Oh, I have to remember to take my nausea medicine before an hour before the bus. Here comes some rain. Okay. My last moments here. I need to start packing my stuff up pretty soon. Maybe I should try to get up to the science field station before it starts pouring rain. All right, it's time to finally pack up the nature journal and stop observing. I think I'm just going to keep it pretty close to the surface, just in case I see something crazy like the jaguar. So I guess the big question at this point in the trip is, did I get what I want? I had a lot of expectations and visions coming here. Things were challenging, and I think I persevered, and I didn't see a jaguar. I didn't see a giant pit viper on the trail right here where they've seen them in the past. But I saw tons of birds. I did a bunch of great nature journaling, and I tested the potential for nature journaling at science research stations in remote tropical rainforests. And so I think this is something that could be really big in the future. It could help the science field stations. It could help nature journalers. It can create opportunities for nature journalers to come to places like this, observe the birds, observe the plants, and contribute to science, contribute to observation, and contribute to conservation of these endangered ecosystems that are so rich and so important. I got a bunch of cool nature journal pages in, averaging about 2 a day, saw a bunch of bird species, got bitten by a ton of mosquitoes, so fed the wildlife, and I managed to survive through some crazy storms in this very open structure. So I think it was really good. I'm going to be visiting some more science field stations in Costa Rica in like a week. So really exciting. My time in Ecuador is coming to a close. I've been to a bunch of biodiverse places. I just got my 300th bird on my bird list in eBird for Ecuador. So really exciting. A lot of nature journal pages. I'm about to fill my third nature journal that's just Ecuador. So really exciting. Thanks to all my Patreon patrons for supporting the show, supporting the mission, and being part of the community. Find out more about how you can join for as little as $5 a month. You can support the show and you can support the mission to use nature journaling to make the world a better place. So check it out. The link's right here. And if you can't wait all the way until next week for the next episode of the show, check out this playlist here. Bye.